Hey everybody, welcome to this beautiful evergreen base poinsettia wreath. We're going to start with a green base that we are going to fluff a little bit. We are going to use this beautiful jute with foil mesh, and I'm going to show you how to fold it. So we're going to cut the pieces about 22 inches. We're going to roll in one end, use clips, roll in the other end, scrunch in the center, and you form this cute little bow tie that we're going to put all over our wreath base. So again, I'm going to show you again, roll one side, roll the other side, and pinch in the center. One roll will give you two wreaths, but it depends how many pieces you put in each wreath. You can put a little more than I did if you want to, or a little less. I'm leaving about 4 to 5 inches in between each cruffle because I know that whatever material I'm using will cover up most of my wreath. All the material we're using tonight, the evergreen base, the mesh, the ribbons, the poinsettia, it's all found at Nick's Seasonal Decor. Link is below. And you can find everything in one spot. Purchase all your beauties and make this beautiful wreath. Now that we have finished and placed all our mesh, I like to squeeze in the wreath a little bit to make it a little bit more oval, and I use my body to help me with that. This is the beautiful poinsettia and pine cone ribbon that we are going to use, and we're going to add a few different other ribbons, and that is entirely up to you. I'm making a 2 loops bow, meaning every ribbon will only give me, I will only make 2 loops and of course 2 tails. This is a great way to use any leftover ribbons that you might have. When I have maybe a yard and a little bit left over on my rolls, this is the kind of bow that I make so that we can finish off all our ribbons. And I'm doing the same thing for each ribbon that I'm using, and each ribbon that goes above the previous one will be about an inch shorter than the previous loop. So that will be the difference. To make this kind of bow, you can use any kind of ribbons that you want. I chose a 4-inch for the base, and for the other loops, I used 2.5-inch ribbons. You don't have to. You can go with a 1.5-inch or a 1-inch. You can use any kind of ribbon that you like. I like the zip tie, making sure that everything is secured, and then put 2 pipe cleaners so that I can attach my bow onto my wreath. And I usually put my bow at 11 o'clock. You don't have to. You can put it on the bottom. You can put it in any place that you prefer. But because of the decorations that I'm using, my bow is going at 11 o'clock. What I'm doing with the loops is each color, I try to make a plus sign, making sure that the loops go in between the previous loops so there's no openings and it looks nice and spread out with all the different patterns. And then, of course, you can go ahead and decide how long or short you like your tails. Once that's done, I usually like to place my largest attachment for my wreath. In this case, this is a large poinsettia that I'm putting at about 3 o'clock. I'm also going to take my poinsettia ribbon, and I chose a sheer ribbon to go over it. And I'm cutting both at 24-inch. I'm making a 4-inch loop and attaching them to my pine branches. just to give a little touch of color and more poinsettias to be seen throughout my design. I don't have a specific recipe for placing my loops. I just try to make sure that it looks even and full all the way around. And I like to cut my tails not too much longer than the mesh itself. Okay? Now that our ribbon is all placed and looking pretty, giving our wreath a different look, I like to add my pine cones that also match my ribbons, and I am sporadically placing them here and there. I like to place them first, then going back and gluing just to make sure that I like the placement. When gluing my pine cones, I prefer to glue them on the pine branches, not on the mesh. These are fabric ornaments that I have in my shop. I'll put the link below if you want to add them to your beautiful wreath. Thank you.